Now we'll try this scrum again. It's going to be one of the most talked about parts of the game over the next 7 weeks of this championship. Let's hope it doesn't take over too much, and if Wales won that, they have, and they've got the penalty, and well, whatever way they did it, psychological blow #1 against England and for Wales. What a lift this would be for Wales. Long way away, no gimme by any stretch of the imagination. On its way, has it got the legs? It had the legs, but it didn't have the direction. Anywhere. Ball knocked backwards, says the referee. England come pouring through. Wales, though, hold on to possession, and Powell has his hands on it. Lydiate again. And then it's Bradley Davies. In from the side, it looked like from Sheridan for me. And the referee has given Wales a penalty. And Andrew Sheridan, so much expected from him in the scrum for England, particularly this evening against this supposedly weakened Welsh front row. Jones takes over the kicking duties. First attempt for him, and he misses on the far side. Phillips' little chip over the top for Shane Williams to chase, but it was a poor kick in truth, and now Ashton has the opportunity for some space to run into it. He finds Ben Foden, and Foden has gas, lots of it, but the pass again very poor behind the supporting players, and Shantae Hape had to go back to get it. Strong tackling from Wales, one of their players down on the far side, injured and not able to continue. I think it's Stoddard, more on that in a moment, as play continues up the middle, and it's taken on by James Haskell. Down the narrow side, the referee may have to blow it up here if the injured player on the ground interferes with play. Youngs, Sheridan. Tackle comes in from Bradley Davis. Youngs once more. Here's Toby Flood, took that pretty flat.
Away, Rev, hands!
Set up again for the scrum half, slower ball. Here's Toby Flood again. Gap opens up in front of him, Flood straight through it. Easy try for England, way too easy. As Ashton,
he was an 18, 19-year-old, and he's done it in Union, and he is an absolute, he could be the player to watch in this championship. He is a phenomenal try scorer.
And he scores his 4th international try. It was Flood that did the damage. At the front row of Mitchell and Jones were the ones that were in front of him, and he just waltzed through Ashton. In, conversion goes over, and 14.5 minutes gone. England lead it by 7 points to 0.
And if one were...
England get the shove on eventually, and Powell, in fairness to him, did well in a retreating scrum to get away, but off their feet against the Welsh, and it's a penalty to England, and the lead is about to be extended.
Yeah, Powell did well, but...
Toby Flood then, in his 6th test against Wales, in his 36th international, is to make it 10 points to 0. He should do, he does do, up go the flags. Phillips feeds the Welsh scrum, which isn't steady but does provide possession, and Phillips away, looked to link up with Shane Williams, but it didn't happen. Powell picks and goes and makes a yard or two, keeps Wales going forward. Phillips continues down that narrow side, taken on by Craig Mitchell. Ball there for the Welsh scrum half once more. Andy Powell doesn't find a gap, finds Sheridan instead as the tackler. Stephen Jones, back inside comes Jonathan Davies.
Away, Whites, tackle!
Referee screaming at England to get away from it. It's not, and it's an advantage, and you can hear it coming. It probably should have come before the warning. It has come now. Penalty against James Haskell, straight in front of the post, and surely points on the board after 20 minutes for Wales. A bit of attention. Referee Alain Roland went over and picked out Chris Ashton, the England winger, and said to him very clearly, one more word to an official of any description and the very best he'll get is a yellow card. Jones gets Wales on the board. Warburton caught. Phillips starts Wales again. Stephen Jones and James Hook. Shane Williams. Jonathan Davies. Lovely little offload to Stoddard, who'd come over from his wing and almost gets away. Hook overran it. Phillips is there. Jones. Lydiate. The referee says advantage to Wales. England not rolling away. Here's Stephen Jones again. Warburton. Better from Wales. Bradley Davis. Davis almost away into the 22. The crowd involved for Wales at last. It's a decent passage of play. Can they finish it? Lydiate almost there. England really stretched. Advantage again, and you might see a sin binning here. Referee goes to his pocket. The players continue to shove and push, but there is no doubt for Alain Roland that Lewis Deacon was an infringement too far. Wales have the penalty straight in front of the post. They have the advantage of 15 against 14, and this game is on again.
Yeah, and purely a professional foul. I mean, if that ball had gone out, he comes over at the top of the ruck, very Leicester, you could say, from Lewis Deacon, comes over and...
Jim, you time chapter?
Stephen Jones, as you'd expect, straight and true. Youngs to Tom Wood. Crowd trying to lift Wales to greater heights, and just when they give the ball to England, they are finding it extremely difficult to get it back. Penalty England, and we talked about stupidity a couple of minutes ago from players. There you have it again, and give them a 3-0 lead, if you will, with the sin bin against them. Not an easy one, but Flood's done well, very well. Stephen Jones. Wales holding on to the ball a little. Stephen Jones slightly isolated. Bradley Davis in to make sure the ball is secured. Ryan Jones runs into Dan Cole. This is better from Wales in the opening 1.5 minutes or so of this second half. Warburton. Jamie Roberts, can't remember calling his name out loud in an attacking way in the first 40 minutes. He gets himself involved at the start of the second half. Bradley Davis for Stephen Jones, much better from Wales. Ryan Jones hit by Nick Easter, but plenty there to secure possession for Wales. Down the narrower of the two sides. Once more Wales go, but Shane Williams wrapped up by Mike Tyndall. Tackle comes in. Where's the ball? There it is. You just caught a glimpse of it. It's there for the Welsh. The referee saw something inside. And again, there's an infringement, a professional foul, and as the referee... Tyndall watches on as Stephen Jones lines this one up. Not straightforward again, but they need to start getting these, and Jones delivers. Hartley for Deacon, Youngs for Flood. Pepe is skipped, and it's now with Cueto. Davis did well to readjust and make the tackle. Foden protects the ball. Youngs finds Flood again, and it's skipped by Easter, and it finds its way to Palmer, and England get a bit of momentum going. But the penalty, well, it's going to go against Wales, and the referee takes a step back and immediately shows the card to Craig
England
Mitchell.
Creative momentum. He goes over, he plays the ball, he's off his feet, get him off, because if you do it, you don't do it again. If referees are...
Well, having had the extra man for the last 10 minutes of the first half, they're now going to have to go through 10 minutes, one down, and Flood will attempt to heap extra pain on them by adding another 3 to the scoreboard. This to make it 16-9. Up go the flags. Terrific kick. Hartley for Palmer again. And as you said, straight to the maul. And away comes Haskell. And Haskell looks and gets support. It's Youngs. And then Palmer. And Palmer sees a little gap. In fact, it's a big gap that opens up in front of him, and he gets to within about 7 meters. Here's Hape. And out wide they go. And it's a possibility of another try. It is another try. And it's Ashton again.
Going again, but England are just so superior. Line-out maul was well defended. Haskell broke off. Tom Palmer, outstanding work to get around the corner off Ben Youngs, and England really did make heavy weather of a 5-on-2. But again, it's that man. George will say it's the easy finish in the studio. Good wingers, try scorers are always on the end. That's why he's on the right one.
Sweet Chariot is heard for the first time in the RBS Six Nations of 2011. Great kick from Toby Flood. James Hook. Bradley Davis, he's willing and able with ball in hand. Here's Phillips again, but he's just running across, and that's really nothing from the scrum half. They shuffle it across the line, and maybe somehow they'll come with a bit of room. As here's Ryan Jones, Shane Williams outside him. Tyndall marks his man and gets there. Not for the first time. It looked a little high from Tyndall on Williams. Cueto across, Haskell there in support, and England retrieve a situation. Hook once more. England up quickly. Tackles eventually come as Hook looked for the weakness maybe in that defensive line. Here's Mike Phillips. Bradley Davis, he's been the standout player for Wales for me. Phillips. Jones. Jonathan Davis, he's done well as well. Stoddard, try!
The stadium, George is right, they've been pretty abject tonight, and Warren Gatland under severe pressure. England will be really irked that simple, it was man-on-man defence, that's all it was. Jonathan Davis drifted on the pass. Shantae Happy was looking up at absolutely nothing. Nothing Mark Cueto could do. They nearly butchered it, but that was the try they needed. England should be ahead, well ahead in this game. Wales have been poor to be at home, but it's 23-16 and it's 20 minutes to go, and you can never tell what sort of energy that can give a team.
You've given this conversion to Stephen Jones, and you were right to.
Push.
Phillips, here's Hook. Shane Williams, England able to just stand and look. Lee Byrne. Phillips in, tells Shane Williams to leave it. James Hook, that looks flat at best. Referee happy to let it go. Phillips back towards the danger men. Shane Williams and Jamie Roberts on his shoulder. Dylan Hartley lying on the wrong side for just a moment, enough to slow it up. Wales go over the top, the central way, and Rees is the latest to carry. That's the English 22, and advantage comes. The penalty is there for Wales, and it's in a very kickable position, but maybe there's more as Lydiate gets a yard or two. Tyndall, the captain of England, makes the tackle. Referee says nothing coming, and the penalty is here. And this to make it a 4-point game. Not a bother to say. So no surprise for anybody, right?
Surprised Johnny Wilkinson didn't drop a goal.
Alan Wynne-Jones for Dwayne Peel and Shane Williams, Bradley Davis, Jonathan Davis there, and there's a sense of anticipation around the Millenium Stadium as Ryan Jones, who's played superbly well since he's come on as a replacement for Andy Powell. Davies, Lee Byrne. Is there a moment of magic in the man that we know who has it? Shane Williams, another who you'll be looking to, though. England feel they may have turned it over, and they have. Holding on the ground. Penalty England. 1,111 points for Johnny Wilkinson. 166 of those against Wales. And this to extend England's lead to 7 points once more. Another carry, so he offloads to John Yap. Dwayne Peel again caught in possession, and Shaw once more the man to do it. And it's English ball, it's knocked forward, and the game is theirs.
They'll be disappointed not to have killed it earlier, but they deserve the win. And Warren Gatland travelling to Scotland under pressure now.